Welcome, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell along with my co-host Glenn Martin, and we are here to talk, of course, all things Ravens. We're excited to be here on a Tuesday night. First and foremost, Glenn, how was the day?
That was a good day. It was another beautiful day. My motorcycle started, which for some reason yesterday it did not want to start, so I was a little disappointed. But I said, you know what? Let me go try it today. Fired right up, first try. So I got to bop around on that, and that's always a good day when you're riding on a beautiful day, Jimbo.
That's right. It's a good day when you make it home safely, right?
That is the most important thing, of course.
That is right. No, that's really cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. My day was not as eventful. Yeah.
I did have a 4-hour training Zoom call in the morning, which was a blast. But after that, good day.
There you go. That sounds like a nice one. All right. Well, look, good day, I think, for the Ravens in some ways. Bad day for the Ravens, I think, in others. We're here to talk about all things Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we're going to review, as always, we're going to do a more in-depth review of the Ravens' victory over the Bengals. Talk about the things we liked more in depth, the things we didn't like, the questions and concerns we have coming out of this game. We're also going to reveal our competition winner in show, along with our competition winner of all of our viewers. And I'll just tell you right now, guys, one family is running away with it. It is quite spectacular. So you guys are going to have to go in there and break up the huddle here. I don't know what's going on inside of that household, but get a lot of answers right. So I'm excited to talk about all those things. And as a little tease, we got a little bit of an exciting opportunity coming up, and we're excited to talk to you guys about it. So, Glenn, why don't we start with some roster news as far as injuries and any moves. Let's start right with Marcus Williams. A lot of you guys know, but Marcus Williams has been moved to IR.
Yeah, moved to IR, but Coach wanted to make it clear that while it is a substantial, he's going to be gone for a substantial amount of time. He's not gone for the season, so that's encouraging. I don't know because when I think of a dislocation, I feel like it's something that typically doesn't have as long of a rehab and it's not as long of a time before they're back on the field as a break, but maybe there was a break involved and a dislocation. Like I didn't think a dislocated wrist would keep them out as long as John's making it sound, but it sounds like it could be like I'm looking at it as like a 6 to 8 weeker is what I'm kind of feeling the way he's talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that was a bit of a surprise to me as well. I had, it doesn't compare, but I dislocated my knee at one point in my life, and it certainly didn't take that long. I was also a lot younger than, I was a teenager, so maybe that makes a difference. You still got some rubber in your joints back then. So I'm hoping it's not that long, but you're right. I was a bit surprised by John saying significant time.
Especially because he played through it for a little while.
Yeah, for a few drives, I think, or something like that. I'm gonna stay positive and hope that it's 4 weeks, a month.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a month.
Yeah, me too. But in the meantime, at least what we've seen so far, it looks like the coaching staff is going with it's going to go with Geno Stone here to be their permanent replacement, at least thus far. He played 35 snaps in that game, which was, 56%. And surprisingly, Kyle Hamilton played just 14 snaps, 22%. So when Marcus Williams went out, it wasn't the first-round pick Kyle Hamilton going in his place. It was a, 6th-round pick Geno Stone, who's already been cut by the Ravens once, cut by the Texans once, was a bubble player, and he's the direct one-to-one replacement for Marcus Williams and not Kyle Hamilton. Is this something where it was simply just this game, or is Geno Stone now the starting free safety for the Ravens?
Yes, Geno Stone is now the starting free safety of the Baltimore Ravens. I feel confident in that answer. And it was Kyle Hamilton's job to lose. Geno Stone took it in practice, in preseason, in his confidence, in his instincts, in his experience. And I think all those things matter here. Certainly the measurements are not on his side. Kyle Hamilton is a rare player measurement standpoint, but I think what Geno has going on instinctually and then between his ears really puts him head and shoulders, proverbially speaking, above Kyle Hamilton, because certainly not physically. But yeah, I initially surprised, but I think Geno has held. I mean, in the game, I felt like he held his own. And I expect him to continue to do so. I feel like every year Geno Stone has gotten progressively better. And one of the things that you astutely pointed out when he was coming out of the draft, while he's not the most prototypical size player, he has above average instincts, which at the end of the day are it's probably the most valuable thing, that and the ability to break down plays. Like, those have to be the two most valuable things that a defender can have. You got to be tough, you got to be fast, you got to hit certain markers and benchmarks. But at the end of the day, if you can't do those two things, you cannot play in the NFL.
No doubt. And everything we've said when we've watched him on tape back when he was coming out of Iowa, everything we saw was that he has incredible instincts. He's always in the right spot. He's ultra reliable in that regard. And I think the coaches are going with the more reliable option, but he's not just, I don't want to act like he doesn't have a lot of those boxes checked that you were talking about. I mean, the guy no doubt has the toughness you're talking about. He's got the physicality. He's got the instincts. He's got the smarts. So while he might not have some of the, he doesn't have the top end speed that a lot of the higher end safeties have, and he doesn't have the desired length that you would want when you're back end of your defender, especially if he's relatively short, you want him to make up for that in his length. Well, Geno doesn't do either of those things, but what he does do is always be in the right spot, plays physical, hard-nosed, and he's tough as nails. So it's interesting that he's the replacement, but it doesn't surprise me after what I've seen to this point. Now, if you would have told me midway through training camp that this was going to happen and that Geno Stone would be the direct replacement, I'd probably be a little bit shocked, but not surprised at this point. I am interested to see if the role of Kyle Hamilton does expand, not to take over as the center fielder, but just in general, because I look at his play time here, Jimbo, and I'm
having some malfunctions here. Keep talking though. Don't pay attention to me.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'm still concerned by this negative trend, this downward spiral of snap counts that I'm seeing from Kyle Hamilton. I see Kyle Hamilton in week 1. Let's see, played over 50% of the snaps. I'm trying to find his name here. Man, why am I blanking on Hamilton here? On Hamilton, I got the snap counts in front of me, and it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack here. But there we go. So he was over 50% of the snaps the first 2 weeks, and then we just see a massive drop off. He went down. He went down after being at 50 the first 2 weeks. He went down to 27% in the Buffalo Bills game, and then the Cincinnati game, he dropped even more. He played just 14 snaps, 22% of the snaps for Kyle Hamilton. I mean, the guy's going backwards. So, I mean, I get trying to limit his role, but my goodness. I mean.
Yeah. So I got some thoughts here, and we talked about this before the show started. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Kyle Hamilton made me think of another player who doesn't play in the NFL but plays in the NBA. In that, and this is why I'm concerned, in that play against Hayden Hurst. I don't know if any of you, because I know you have, Glenn, but if any of you folks have seen Ben Simmons with the basketball in the fourth quarter, or Ben Simmons on the free throw line in the fourth quarter, or any time in the game, or Ben Simmons with a wide open shot. Just look at his face. It'll tell you everything you need to know. And man, I was really shocked at how much Kyle Hamilton just straight up panicked. Absolute panic. He had no ability to think in that moment. It was so clear to everyone because all he did was go boom, and he just pushed him immediately, right? No training kicked in, no muscle memory kicked in, nothing, but he just pushed him. He was just paralyzed with fear. That has me really concerned going forward, Glenn. I'm nervous about his mental and emotional state right now with dealing with the pressure of being a number 1 pick, the number 1 safety taken, so highly rated, coming to Baltimore that is a defensive team that has had guys like Ed Reed in the back end. We've had other greats, Eric Weddle, and there's guys I'm not naming in the back end there. So maybe I'm being maybe I'm overly concerned. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm really concerned about the state of Kyle Hamilton mentally in his game. So the snap counts obviously tell a story, but it was really telling to me the other day with what happened to him there in that position. Now it looks like a lot of people are saying he just needs more snaps.
Well, you can't give him snaps if every time he's out there, he's
It's gonna
getting
be a PI.
targeted and getting, absolutely targeted and embarrassed. And
What
so
happened to Armour Davis? I don't even know where
you haven't
he
even
is,
seen
if he
him.
exists anymore. Is he still a Raven? I mean, you can only tell by the books, right?
He's not active. He's not game day active. And to those saying, well, Hamilton wasn't drafted to be the starting free safety. Okay, that's fine. Was Geno Stone drafted in the 6th round to be the starting free safety? But he's the one who's in there right now. So although Hamilton wasn't drafted, once there's an injury at the position, you think the first alternate at either safety would have been the first round safety who you just drafted.
Who some people said was the best defensive player in the draft.
Even asked this question. Oh, because he wasn't drafted to be the starting free safety, he's not. That means he's out of the question of being as the first alternate when there's a major injury to the position.
And then on top of that, the idea of him being out of position is a moot point as well, because everyone said he was going to shine in matchups against tight ends.
Yeah, and also in every and they said he could play both safety positions as well. Sean Pisker says, "Evening, gentlemen. Still stoked from the game Sunday. Again, super sorry I missed you guys. I agree with you on Stone. I'm trying to stay patient with Kyle, but he just seems lost out there, and that's the concern. That's why they're going with Geno Stone. It's not because he's just being like physically outmatched, or he's not in the right spot at the right time, and the concern is that he looks lost out there. You can't have that as your free safety. Just get your last line of defense.
Yeah, it's a big problem, and I'm interested to see what the Ravens' plan is. Is it to mask him for the rest of the season? You know what I mean? Just is it to simply bench him, or is it to get him a lot of snaps? I highly doubt that based on what we've seen in other scenarios. So I'm hoping for the best here, Glenn, but I think I'm a little more concerned than you about his long-term outlook, because one, a bad start to a career. Now, I'm not like, look at who's the Sam Darnold, right? Like, not saying he's the most talented guy in the world, but like, look at the positions he's been put in and the start to his career. Even though he has a lot of God-given talent, the dude's career, to me, in my opinion, is all but over. Like, it's just over because of the way it started. So what I'm trying to say, the start of someone's career is so vital in a lot of cases that you don't see too many like bounce back stories after a tough start. And so I get a little concerned that, a tough start.
I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm not ready to go there yet. I mean, he's
definitely got to make some leaps and bounds this year then.
Well, I'm getting concerned of his ability to contribute year one. There is some growing concern there because of the trend. You can't keep going down in your snap count and then expect to all of a sudden have a massive rise unless there's just so many injuries that you're the last man standing. But if your snap counts keeps going down, I mean, I guess you could play excellent in your 12 snaps and hope that the coach gives you 15 next week. But I mean, how many opportunities? And then with only 12 opportunities, then you could feel rushed. You could feel forced to try and make a play, step outside of your responsibilities to try and make something happen. And then you ultimately give up a play, and then you have less snaps the following week. So I do get concerned about his ability to contribute this year. But maybe that's just me overreact. I just get nervous when I see his snap count every week. It's going down. Even when you lose your starting safety in the game, it still goes down, and only Geno's goes way up. That's got me a little concerned. But I don't want to spend a ton of time just talking about him. I do want to ask you a different question here, Jimbo. We got to talk about K Dobbins. He has what looks to be his best game of the season, has a fantastic run where he breaks a handful of tackles on, I think, 3rd down and turns nothing into a 1st down. But then we don't see him at all for the 4th quarter, which is really puzzling, including the drive with just 2 minutes left. It was, win or go home at that point. And I look at the snap counts afterwards. Kenyon Drake, 27 snaps, plays 42% of overall snaps. He played one more snap than Dobbins, who just got 26 after after Kenyon Drake was a healthy scratch for, I think, 2 straight weeks, definitely was last week. Why is it? What happened? Why is it 1 week Kenyon Drake's a healthy scratch? The next week, Dobbins is benched for the fourth quarter and Drake's getting all the crunch time looks. What the hell?
Yeah, it is a weird one, right? I don't know. I don't know if one situation applies to the other. But when Coach was asked about Ronnie, remember how he said, "I'm just listening to the trainers," and Ronnie, but he said, I'm just listening to the trainers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, is there any way that Dobbins is still on some sort of account? He's still on some sort of a trajectory, like, there's some sort of plan for him, and maybe he's I don't know if that's the case, but that could be it. I just don't see any situation in where he's making the coaches upset. A few highlights I even saw on throwing downs, he seemed to pick up the blitz well. Like, I know it's another thing that John will put guys in the doghouse for if you can't pick up the blitz. He seemed to do a good job.
What can Drake do better than him?
Right. He didn't fumble the football. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So I don't know what it is other than strictly health. I just don't understand. Now, what do you make of the Twitter situation?
Yeah, because then after the game, a fan tweeted at K Dobbins and said, if basically, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it in front of me, but basically the Ravens aren't going to use you, then they should trade you. And then I think K Dobbins liked the tweet. I don't like
Crazy
that.
This will be a conversation. Social media world is
unbelievable. First of all, I don't like it if he's liking that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I get you're frustrated, but you stop going to social media. But those who are thinking it might be a snap count, he had 13 carries last week against the Bills for 41 yards, had just 8 carries this week and had 44 yards. So more yardage on less carries. And then last week he played, he played 35 snaps. This week he plays 26. So, and by the way, less in percentage as well. Went from 50% of the snaps to 40%. So I just don't understand what's going on here. How does Drake go from one extreme to the opposite? I don't know. I'm confused. And they asked John Harbaugh. Of course, he gave us nothing. Said, "Oh, well, we got backs up. We want to use them. They're all good." Blah 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 blah. Why is K Dobbins standing on the damn sideline when your final win or go home drive? It makes absolutely no sense. Kenyon Drake ended up popping a pretty big run on that drive, but it makes you wonder what JK would have done with the same opportunity. I got to imagine he would have done at least as good, if not better.
Yeah, 100%. So I it's just hard to give a solid answer. I don't think it's that coach doesn't like him. I don't think it's that his style doesn't fit. It has to be health related. This seems to be the only logical thing to me.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Everybody's saying I'm overreacting. Okay. You explain to me why their best running back was on the sideline and Kenyon Drake, who was inactive. I can't come up with a reasonable explanation unless they feel he was better in that moment. But I'd like
to look, I got to say this, though, because we kind of talked about Ronnie and JK. I don't like the fact that he liked the tweet, but I like that he is chomping at the bit. Where something that was telling about Ronnie, and I want to talk about this. We kind of talked about it in our preview, in our post game show, but I want to dig a little deeper. Now that we've heard from John that Ronnie Stanley, the reason they were swapping in and out of series, if you guys didn't notice, Ronnie Stanley and McCary, they probably talked about it on the broadcast, but McCary and Stanley were swapping and they were exchanging reps. They were exchanging snaps per drive. So, it seemed odd. I think that the Ravens did that once at right tackle a few years ago with the dude that was a Seahawk that was here for 1 year.
Fluker?
Fluker and Phillips.
Well, that's because they were just garbage, not because of health.
Right. But the thing that was interesting is that he said, "It's up. I'm listening to the trainers and Ronnie." So this could be an overreaction as well. But is there any concern? Like, I don't like the idea of a guy saying, "Just give me," like, at the end of the game, I want to be in the whole fourth quarter. Sure, we can do this in the first half, but like what I want fire in here.
In
Like
your
you're not
belly, yep.
taking me off the field, dude. Like you're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say is, first and foremost, thank goodness he's not hurt, because we were at the game. We saw him not on the field in the second drive. We immediately assumed there was an injury, but of course went to our trusted guy, Jeff Zrebiec, who immediately clarified the situation that they were alternating possessions. But I will say this, on the bright side, man, Ronnie looked good, Jimbo. He
did.
He looked good, man. Looking back, because you can't see as good at the game as you can when you watch the game. So had the opportunity to see the television version, and he looked good, man. I mean, he looked light on his feet. He looked fast. He looked strong. I liked him pulling, and he was getting up in a guy's face that was spending a little too much time on the ball carrier, getting him out of there. Showing a little toughness, a little nasty. I like that. I don't understand how they stuck to their guns like they did, because we were talking early in the game. We said, what if this comes down to a final drive and McCary's up? It's his turn. Are they really going to stick to this? And sure enough, they did. McCary was out there in that big time drive. Played, in fact, Jimbo, Stanley's drives, although they were alternating, didn't seem to last as long, at least from a snap count standpoint. He only played in 22 total snaps, whereas McCary, he lodged 43, so nearly doubled his snap count. So I found that to be interesting. But why is it that Stanley is still on? Like, is this something we're going to have to see moving forward? Like, is it going to be, well, we'll do 2 for Stanley, then 1 for McCary, then back to 2 for, like, how does this go forward throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, that John didn't give any clarity on that, of course. But it has to trend towards Ronnie. It has to. I don't think they do this for another game. This is just madness. Like, it's so frustrating for me, and I can only imagine, and I hope that Ronnie's just as frustrated by it. But I cannot see this happening for another 2 games, right?
Can't happen much more than 1 more game, right?
Yeah, because it's just stupid.
And if that's all it is, hey, then it means Ronnie's there when it counts, right? That's all that matters.
That's what we want at the end of the day. Absolutely. Yeah. But at the same time, like, we got to get to where we need to get to.
If we didn't have McCary, if McCary wasn't healthy, if say he had a high ankle and was still out, do you think they still go with this, or is Faalele the left tackle for 1 more game? Or is he the alternate?
I think he's the alternate.
Okay. Yeah. So either way, this was the plan, McCary or not.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, let's see what James has got to say. James Lee Wiley, he says, Harbaugh is playing for the long haul, long season ahead. We're going to need DK to last the whole season. I understand those points, James.
DK?
Sorry, my bad. I think he meant JK.
JK.
But he's got DK on the mind.
Okay. I didn't know if he was talking about Ronnie or, JK. Right.
So I understand those points. In both situations,
but he seems healthy. He's fine.
Well, and then on top of that, like, we're playing for the long haul, but this is a divisional game. This is for first place in the division. Yeah. Like, this game is worth a game and a half. If you look at the way it breaks down, right? So, that, and it wasn't like it was a blowout. It wasn't a decisive win. We weren't in control of the game. Even when we were up 10-0, it wasn't really out of reach. Obviously, they came back. So, I understand playing for the long haul, but if you want to play for the long haul, you gotta have one eye on the present and one eye on the future. You can't just say, "Oh, we're playing for tomorrow." No, like, just like, remember in Rocky 3, Glenn, what do you say? There is no tomorrow, Rock. There is no tomorrow. Like, at some point, you got to realize there's no tomorrow.
Well, game 16 and 17 might feel more important, but it counts just the same as weeks 4 and 5. I mean, I get that it feels more impactful when it's the end of the season, but it still counts as a win or a loss. And if you let that game slip out of your hands because McCary's in there and he gets Lamar's blindside, gets his head knocked off, I mean, I don't know. I know that I don't want to be it sounds like we're having a negative show here, Jimbo, and I don't like it because they just had a hell of a win, and I don't want it to be a negative show, but I realize that we are responsible for creating that. So, do you have something we could switch to a more positive outlook here, Jimbo?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, obviously I want to take a quick second to talk about where we are in the division. Obviously, we took the lead in the division. We are the only, if I'm mistaken, the only team that has a winning record in the division at this point.
I think you're right. Yeah, you are right.
We
We're
just
the
knocked them
3-2 in sole possession. Yep.
So, and we have a nice schedule up ahead of us. I mean, obviously, there's no gimmies in the NFL, but we have an opportunity to gain some headway. So, this is the positive I want to go to, though. Devin Duvernay. I mean, we've all been excited about the potential of his progress going into this year. I know I certainly have, and I'm not the only one. So, what was your take on Duvernay? It was funny. I got to say this before I get your answer. Everyone was saying, oh, I saw somebody tweet that he's Debo light. He's a Diet Coke Debo, like all these things. I think I'm going out there and I don't care. I think he has every bit of potential to be just as impactful in a football game as he continues to grow and be given opportunities. Give him Debo's opportunities every single game. I mean, if you look at his numbers in this game, they're pretty impressive. You combine his all-purpose yards. He was also on special teams. I'm so excited for Duvernay moving forward and what it means to this team. I kind of want to talk about that too. But what was your take on his performance in the game? Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see Devin Duvernay, he just makes the most of every opportunity, even those opportunities that aren't are kind of off script, like when the fumble happened in the back in the behind the line of scrimmage. He somehow
no panic,
so clean, scoops it so clean when I think everyone wanted him to jump on the ball just to erase any worse things happening. But no, he scoops it and turns it into positive yards. I haven't seen him drop a football all season, which I can't say that about any other player on our team. Like not even Mark Andrews. We've seen him drop a ball. We've seen Bateman drop a couple in the rain game. Everyone else, I can remember, but I remember Lamar Jackson missing a throw. Of course, Tylan Wallace wide open. But what has Devin Duvernay done except meet or exceed expectations? I mean, the guy's just incredible, and I just hope that we see more and more of him out of the backfield. The guy is an all-pro returner. I want to see him not just as these sweeps and getting horizontal, which I like. Let's see him in between the tackles. Why not? I mean, the guy has the fearlessness to be an all-pro return guy, which is, I mean, my goodness, you talk about running into a group, into a pile. This guy obviously isn't concerned. He's got a running back background. Let's see more and more of Devin Duvernay, but please do not let it be at the cost of his ability to return the football, because I don't want to lose his ability in that regard, because I think he's special there too. I want to see him just expand his role in offense, but I'm not ready for him to lose his role in special teams.
I've been ready for it. I think I talked about this before the offseason. I mean, during the offseason, excuse me. Like, I think he's graduated from that, just like Steve Smith did. Just like so many great players in the past have done that. I mean, goodness gracious, Antonio Brown, right? Like one of the best, say what you want about him off the field, one of the best wide receivers of all time. Of course, his first one ever, he took back to the house, and that's kind of where he got his start. So I'm ready for Duvernay to be done with that. I'm ready to hand off the reins to someone else. I get your point. Maybe we put him back there in pivotal moments. But I'm ready for him to be focused solely on offense. And you know what, Glenn? I think he's earned it.
No, we don't want him when he's solely on offense. You mean remove him completely off the special teams roster? Are you out of your marbles?
I think you throw him back there in pivotal moments, but why is it worth the risk? Right now, he's our wide receiver one.
What's the risk?
You tell me. Well, what if he gets destroyed?
Has he ever? Injured? Well, then let's not put him as a wideout then. What if he gets destroyed?
That's fair, but you know
he's he's an all-pro returner. You don't take that away.
Okay, but how many other teams are taking their wide receiver one and taking kickoffs and punt returns?
He ain't the wide receiver one, Jimbo.
Okay. Bateman's on the bench. I don't see who's our wide receiver one.
Bateman's going to be back this week.
And you want him as our wide receiver one right now?
Yes. It's not raining yet, is it? Let me see.
I just threw my dang pen at the screen.
Let me see the forecast. If it ain't raining, yeah, I'll take him. He had a bad game in that rain game, But look, I like him. I'm just saying,
I'm not handing him the job.
I want Duvernay.
He's got to take it back from Duvernay. Take it back, Bateman. I'm not giving it to you.
Okay, all right. And look, maybe the Ravens did sign, like Charles Bowie says, they did sign Andy Isabella, like we talked about last week. He is on the practice squad, and he's a return guy. But you don't take – this guy's already shown that he can put points on the board as a return guy. I think you put him back there. If you want to tell me – see, I don't even want him to lose his punt duties. I want him doing both, punt and kick return, because how many times does he even get the opportunity? If you send him back there 8 times or 10 times for a kick return, he probably gets 4 opportunities out of those 10, because most kickers kick it out of the end zone anyway. So let him back there every time for the occasional shot at it, and let's make the most of it.
But you take him off punts?
Nope, I want him on punts too.
Oh,
he's the best in the world at both. I'm not going to take the best in the world and go, I don't want him doing that, because I want him to do this other thing.
Okay, when he gets his bell rung.
Which he's never happened.
All right.
I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play in this what if, okay, Jimbo? I'm not running these guys out here in bubble wrap, all right? This is football.
That's fine. All I know is that when you're wide receiver option 1, you're not playing special teams. You're not doing it.
Okay, but that's fine. He doesn't get the target share and the responsibilities of a 1. All right, he's not getting 14 targets a game like Stephon Diggs and asking him to run 68 routes because Josh Allen throws the ball every play. Iron Addicts,
right.
We can't limit Duve, but we have to
put
pay
Mark
him.
Andrews on punt coverage, and we'll throw him back there for pivotal moments. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we'll put Mark Andrews back there. Might as well, right?
Why would
he's so good in the open field. His yak is incredible. Let's put Mark Andrews back there.
That is not a good comparison.
What about JK? Why don't we throw JK back there? Lamar, what the heck? Let's just put Lamar back there.
Lamar would be nasty.
I mean, you know what? Bateman needs to get his butt back there. He's the one that needs it.
All those people you just mentioned aren't all pro return people, Jimbo. Quit the nonsense.
This is the last
You're being crazy.
I'm not being crazy. Why did
you're talking about taking an all-pro and taking him out of the position.
No, I'm not saying permanently. Like, look, dude, there were some incredible return. I just mentioned 2 of them. You can add another one. He played corner. You can't
pick spots because you don't know when they're kicking it. If it's a big moment, they're going to kick it out of the end zone. They're not going to give him the spot.
So why didn't AB and Steve Smith and Pac-Man, why didn't those guys do it their whole career then?
Because they were asked to do so much on offense. Duve isn't asked to do that.
Every week he's doing more and more and more. Dude, he carried
in this offense. He'll never be asked to do too much.
Wait, how many targets?
This isn't the Buffalo Bills.
But look how many targets Marquise got last year. So if he gets those targets,
agreed. If he gets 150 targets, then I'll take him off as an all-pro returner. But until then, I ain't doing it.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Iron Addict says we can't limit Duve, but we have to pay him soon too. That's a good point. I wonder what his paycheck's gonna I wonder what his agent's gonna say.
And at what point does he say, "I'm not doing this for my career"?
Well, then you're out of here. Hey, Debo tried that bull crap. Guess what he's doing in San Fran?
I'm saying as a special teamer.
No, but Debo tried to do that in his contract negotiations, limit his backfield carries. I still see him in the backfield.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's part of his game.
Yeah, that's why he's valuable. Ravens O's Nation. Did you forget about the return versus Miami?
Yes, I get all of that. I'm just saying, at what cost? I don't know.
I know, Nana. I'm sorry.
Happens one time a year. Whoop-de-doo,
Look, we're coming in all fired up, man. I don't know what's going on.
That's fine. I'm clueless. Lisa, I'm pretty sure you said the Ravens were going to have 800 yards 2 weeks ago.
I look at Jimmy's all fired up now.
Get out of here. That's crazy.
Yeah, tell him. Tell him, guys.
Go ahead. That's crazy. Fine. But look, for all of you out there talking about he's clueless, just name one other guy that's a wide receiver 1, and he's taking kicks.
You keep saying this like Duve is a wide receiver 1. He's not.
He's gonna be. He's better than Rashad Bateman, and he was last week.
Well, last week he was because Bateman didn't play.
Yeah, he was and every time Bateman plays, the ball ends up turning into soap on his hands.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Don't let your competitive nature make you say some things about Bateman that you'll later regret. Let me switch gears a little bit here. Some more positivity since you keep bringing in this negativity.
Duvernay's awesome. And respect the man. That's all I'm saying. Give him some respect.
Look, I'm not going to keep doing this. I could, but I'm not going to. Let me switch gears.
Mm-hmm.
I got to talk about our guys in the secondary because as much as we've given them crap, as much as they've been taking that crap, I heard Marlon Humphrey say how much it hurt when he would look up at, Good Morning Football and ESPN and see the Ravens are 32nd in pass defense and how much that stung, but also how much that humbled him and that he was glad in a way that he saw it. And boy, did they show up. They hold this high-powered, this feared passing attack. Joe Burrow just 217 yards passing, sack him twice, pick him off once. I mean, Jamar Chase, after absolutely going bonkers, goes 7 catches, Jimbo, on 12 targets, only 7 catches, 50 yards. His longest play was 13 yards. So I mean, look,
That was
Tyler
Duvernay's
Boyd.
longest run.
Exactly. There you go. Well, actually, we had
12-yard run. It's about
we
the
had
same
4
thing.
plays longer than that. So while we didn't have a very explosive day offensively, we still had 4 plays longer than Jamar Chase's longest play after torching us last season for all those monster gains. So when you see Boyd go 3 for 32, Jamar Chase 7 for 50, and I understand that there was an injury. Higgins had an injury, and he was gone.
Get over it, Bengals.
Exactly, but they still had her step up in a big way in the absence of Higgins. But I got to give credit to Humphrey and Peters. They are playing like all pro corners right now, and they locked up them boys.
This is what you get, Glenn, when all offseason Marcus Peters is injured, who Marcus is one of the top 3 most competitive players in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says. He has no fear in his heart. Any play, but he wants all the smoke from everyone, and he doesn't back down from anything. I absolutely love it. I aspire to be more like that in life. And what I'll say about that is this is exactly what happens when all off season, you're going on every podcast. I'm not talking about Joe, even like the 3 receivers. They're talking about how good they are and, how they, keep each other from getting their egos involved with one another and just running their mouth like they've all of a sudden they're just gold jacket wearers. Got the gold jacket already, locked it up. I'm set to go. And Peter's just at home, just doing sit-ups, pull-ups, just running, whatever, just watching it, taking it all in. Because I tell you what, he didn't stop talking for a minute in this game. He let everyone from Hayden Hurst to Jamar Chase to every referee in his sight know what was going on. And I loved it. I mean, I'm so excited about the potential of Marcus continuing to get healthy, and that's those 2 back there together. Let's see. Peters needs to become the Lewis
leader.
Yeah. He needs to become the Lewis leader for this team, right?
Peters he already is. I mean, he's 100%. Even when he was hurt, he was that last year. It's just hard to be an impactful voice when you're standing on the sideline, but 100%. I mean, this guy, first of all, doing it with the physicality, doing it with the hit stick, and not just the finesse game like most people attach to Peter's name. I mean, the guy was blowing up the double reverse, which was a horrendous play call. He blew up the Jamar Chase quick screen in a big-time moment and forced him to the ground immediately. I mean, the guy is just and the swag he brings when he's getting up and just getting the whole stadium feeling it when he hit that guy in the backfield. Yeah, I mean, he already is that leader. Asmodeus says, "Sup, y'all? Was that the first game ever?
Nice. What a great game to go to.
Oh,
dude, you got a game, a light show, and a concert all in one. That was awesome. I gotta say too, something that I noticed during the game, and I don't think I mentioned to you during the game. I thought it was really interesting though. As Joe was lining the offense up to run that play, Joe Burrow, I saw him look over at the sideline, right at his coach. McPherson. They made okay.
No, Taylor. Zach
Taylor. Taylor. I'm thinking about their kicker.
Yep.
Because we talked about their kicker for enough time. Jeez, it was. So he looked over at him for a second, did one of these. And you could tell he was with eye contact very clearly. You sure? I wish anybody goes back and look at the tape, just watch it. And then you see him go like this. Zach just does one of these. But you saw he just peered at him.
Well, and the Ravens defense was ready for it, man.
Yeah, I watched later on to see if that was something they did on. That was the only play I saw him do that.
Yeah, because they were in the Philly special, if anyone remembers.
Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, it did not work. Ravens were not fooled. They had a defender sitting right there, and Joe Burrow didn't know what the heck to do, and neither did was that Boyd that had the ball in the backfield? I think it was Boyd.
Right, exact. Boyd, it was it ended up in Boyd's hands. Who was it to originally? Chase,
and then Boyd. Yeah.
So Joshua Hunter says most people would say the Bengals receiving core without T. Higgins is better than ours without Bateman. So no excuses for Burrow.
They definitely, most people, every person would, because they have Jamar Chase, and he was all pro level good last year. So yeah, and then Tyler Boyd is no slouch himself. Has been around the league. So every single person who was asked that question would say that the Bengals, except for maybe Jimmy, who thinks Devin
What?
Duvernay is better than everyone. I mean,
No,
other than
wait a
Jimmy.
second. Hold on. So, wait a second. What? You had to go
So
and do this.
everyone except for Jimmy would say that the Bengals receiving core is better, but
I never said that.
you're not going to have Jimmy saying that Devin Duvernay is
Hey, you guys, I like Rashad, but my money's on Duve is all I'm saying. I think that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're both our
You
guys.
got to put your money on Duve or Rashad. Where are you putting? You only got one place to put it down.
Well, what are you talking about? I can just have one of those guys on my team. I would probably take Duve because of his return.
No, forget all that. You're getting more targets to one than the other. Who are you giving more targets to in a season? Hey, Bateman, you're lying through your teeth right now.
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah,
Marco G says Bengals fans quiet after we held Joey to 217.
I know.
Not so fun going up against a healthy secondary, is it? Our pass rush getting healthy will help the D-boy. I want to talk about our pass rush. Thank you, Marco G. You're 100% right. But I'm starting to get excited because I'm starting to see what this group, I'm starting to see it into the future and imagine what this group would be like, because Jason Pierre-Paul is playing way better than anyone I think would have guessed. The pressure he's put on the quarterback is impactful. Odafe Owe is going to stop getting the type of attention he's been getting, and hopefully start making a more impact from actually getting the guy, the passer on the ground instead of just getting a bunch of hurries. I can't imagine. I
think he led the country in hurries in college too.
Yeah, but. Stop it, Jimmy. You're trying to pull me down a dark hole here. I'm not going down that alleyway with you. I'm going to say when Houston comes back, we're going to see more of what we saw from early in the season, which was a young-looking, rejuvenated Justin Houston who was
balling out.
Yeah, really balling. And then you add to that Bowser, who's right on the horizon, and then Ajabo. Once this front gets right, I mean, we think this secondary played well against the Bengals. They're going to continue to get better and better. And then by the time Marcus Williams comes back, I hope that he has enough time at season's end to get back reacquainted and get gelling and get moving again on the back end, because it's going to be a scary defense at the end of this season, Jimbo.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, the only concern I have is for Ajabo. I don't want him, because of the nature of the injury, I hope he doesn't. There can be a long lead time for getting back in shape for an injury such as that, right? So, if he comes back, I mean, he's playing real well, but JPP is still working himself into football shape. Yeah. Fair to say, right? He's playing real well, but he's certainly off the couch. So, I would love for Ajabo to come back in excellent shape. However, I also am realistic in understanding that that's just really, really hard to do unless you have an extended period of time. Justice Hill's incredible shape this year, but he had the year and the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But at least if he just has the shape to get us some pass downs and not say, look, we're not even putting you out there on downs 1 and 2.
Right.
We only need you for third.
Just get in there and yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But either way, just Tyus and Houston, even without depending on any sort of an impact from a rookie who's coming off an Achilles, even those two, what has made the difference, Glenn, and what's helping your vision is really JPP, though.
Well, of course.
He's given this entire room help. I mean, not help, not just help, but hope.
Yeah.
Right? That plays, we can learn to rely again on our pass rush in big moments, right? It gives you a little hope.
100%. Absolutely. And I think that Pat Queen's still his best role as a blitzer. I mean, I think he is an excellent blitzer, and so I think that the pass rush it's gonna look really, really good here soon, especially if Humphrey and Peters can stay healthy on the outside. Of course, Clark, because we can't afford to have any more key injuries on the back end, or it could start getting ugly. But Sean Pisker says Tucker's reaction to 58-yarder in person was perfect. Yeah, just so swaggy. He's just what do you expect? I mean,
his offensive line bowed to him. I don't know if anyone caught that.
I mean, the guy is so. I never, to have that much pressure put on you by the outside world of basically everyone thinking that you're just perfect at your job. I heard Ryan Clark say that Justin Tucker is the most perfect football player in the history of the league, because nobody does their job better than Justin Tucker does his job. Nobody has ever done their job better than Justin does his job. And it's really hard to ignore. If you look at his first half of his career, he was the most accurate kicker in history at 89%. And the second half of his career, he bested his own personal record and now is 92% in his second half of his career. So he was already the best, and he got that much better for the second part. And he's got so many years left to do it ahead of him. I mean, they called it on Get Up this morning. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer when he decides to hang up the cleats.
He has to be, right? He absolutely has to. I love the way that he compartmentalizes things and really helps break it down into just a mechanism, right? That's all it really is.
It's easier said than done, right?
For sure, absolutely. But I think that just the ability to do that in your mind is pretty impressive. He'd probably be a good sniper in the military too.
Probably a great golfer.
Probably a good golfer. Yeah, I mean, anything that's a high leverage moment where you have to be really precise and detail oriented. Yeah. You know what? People should have known he was going to be a Hall of Famer when before every game he lays down his uniform on the. Have you seen this? He lays his uniform down on the ground, like in front of his locker before every game, from his helmet all the way down to his socks, to his cleats, to anything he's wearing on his wrists, everything down on the ground, exactly how he's going to wear it so he can see it.
He's swaggy. He wants to make sure he looks good, feels good.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like he's that detail oriented about everything. Right.
Yeah. Hey, man, when you're the best, you got to be paying attention to those details. Yeah. Laura says, "Hey guys, I'm late to the party again because of Sadie's puppy school, but I'm curious why Duve did not get a game ball."
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jimbo.
Thank you. He only needs more targets. Like, why even? I'm not even gonna go here anymore. Laura, that's all I needed tonight. She's a whiz. People out here trying to make me gaslighting me, trying to make me think I'm crazy because Duvernay's our number one wide receiver, and I don't want him taking punts and get smashed in the face. Sorry.
I want him taking punts. I don't want him getting smashed because he's smart enough to know when to call a fair catch. Oh, well, though, I will say he had some space last week. I wish he wouldn't have on one particular punt return. I don't know if you remember me saying that as we were at the game, Jimbo. But by the way, didn't you pick Isaiah Likely to be your breakout player offensively and not your guy, Devin Duvernay, who you're now raving about as our number one?
Yes, I did. But you know for a fact, I've been riding Devin Duvernay for a while. You know that.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm going to give you a hard time.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's see. Sean Pisker says there was a stat that his game winner was so accurate. Oh, yeah, that it would have been good if the posts were only a half yard apart. You mentioned that in our post game. That's nuts. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible.
And that's from 43 yards out. Like,
and wasn't there another one about the 58-yarder? It would have been good if the crossbar was like 2 meters higher or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of leg, no doubt about it. And it's funny because we had Bengals fans in front of us, and they were very happy and proud of the talent level of their kicker. And I had to remind them that their kicker's daddy and father is Justin Tucker. So let it be known that Jimmy can attest to this. When they scored and there was only 2 minutes left, Jimbo, what was I telling them Bengals fans?
You were writing a lot of checks. You're making me nervous,
dude.
You know what I realized? Because of you, I was literally rocking side to side in the video, going like this, trying to record it. Not even realizing it until I watched it after.
You're so nervous.
Because Glenn's over here. Oh, we got game over. I could sit down, whatever.
It's tough.
I mean, you're absolutely
in that
right.
moment, all they had to do was get in his range in a game-winning moment. So not in his range in a normal moment. As soon as
Lamar broke the long one, Glenn was like, "It's over.
It's over."
There it is. And I'm waiting for one of our guys to just like fumble it or a bad snap. The snap was a touch low. That made me nervous, and I'm like, "Oh gosh."
Oh man, Stout getting the rock down for his boy. Yeah, I mean, I had ultimate confidence anytime it comes down to Justin Tucker, or really Lamar Jackson and Justin Tucker. Like, I knew Lamar would get him into field goal range, no problem. And, of course, that the GOAT would finish the job.
Facts on facts on facts right here. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, well, I think that game ball to Patrick Queen, as Laura says, well, if Patrick Queen got a game ball, then so should Duve. Patrick Queen did get an interception, but also that game ball is meant to try and boost his confidence and help him out. Duvernay didn't need that. He's an all-pro, as we said.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Jimmy wants to bench him.
I don't want to bench him. Look, jeez. All right. So Patrick Queen does not need confidence. I think Patrick Queen needs time. He might need some Adderall so he can pay attention in the film room. Like, dude, I just don't understand it, Glenn. I don't get it. Like, the interception was great. And look, let's not dismiss other things that he did well in the game. But man, there were moments where it's just brutal.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Let me say this, because I watched the TV and I was hard on him because I was tired of seeing. We saw some missed tackles. We saw a lot of tackles beyond the first down, so 10 and 12 yards down the field by the time he's being tackled. But I will say, the defensive line has got to step up and be better to help out those linebackers. They got to be better.
Look what you're doing, Glenn.
They're so well, I'm saying they were so dominant.
Yeah.
In week 1, they were so dominant, and we all pointed to this group as the most dominant part of the, not even the secondary, which, at that point when we were talking about that, a lot of these guys were still on their way back, but nonetheless, we talked about this front has no drop off from 1 to 5. I mean, they're so good. And yet since week 1, we really haven't seen a dominant performance from this front defensive line. They got to be better. They got to be taken too. I need to see these linebackers running free. And too often I have been seeing, Pat Queen getting taken on by a guard who, let's be honest, I mean, these guards are how many pounds heavier than Pat Queen? So, I mean, I'm disappointed in Pat Queen. I think he's got to be better. But at the same time, the defensive line's got to do more to help him out.
Yeah, well, it seems like a lot of people disagree with you, and I'm just going to pile on and disagree with you.
You don't think that the D-line has to do more?
Well, I think they have to do more, but they can't tackle people in the open field.
No, but they could all – no, he's got to make those tackles. I'm not saying that, but the tackles where I'm saying where he's tackling them 10, 12 yards down the field.
Right, yeah.
Well, maybe the D-lineman can do a little more to help
hold these guys up, to give them a sure shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
No doubt. That's what I'm talking about.
For sure. But Josh Bynes shouldn't look better than you.
No, he shouldn't, and he shouldn't be taking your snaps at his age. And let's be honest, Patrick Queen did play less snaps percentage-wise and total-wise last week than he did in the previous
week. An undrafted veteran. Well,
no. I mean, Bynes still played less total snaps, but he's eating into those snaps.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So that's the trend. You don't want to go in that direction. Ravens O's Nation says, if Duvernay doesn't have more catches than Bateman this year, then Jimmy has to buy a Patrick Queen jersey. No, then Jimmy has to buy an LSU Joe Burrow jersey.
Ugh, no. That's egregious. That's just egregious. I can buy it to burn it live.
How about an LSU Pat Queen jersey?
No. Hush.
No.
I
You have to eat your microphone cover. No, that's done. That ship sailed. That microphone cover is not being ingested.
Yeah, okay, Ravens O's Nation. Then what's the rebuttal if he does? What does Glenn have to do?
That's a good point. I'll be waiting. Look,
Duvernay's going to get more targets. This is what it is, but I believe that Devin Duvernay,
Bateman is going to get more targets?
Bateman is going to get more targets.
He's already played in one less game.
But at the end of the day, Bateman's going to get 3 to Duvernay's 1, and I'm going to be furious about it.
Well, he just got 7 to 0, so maybe he's catching up.
It ain't going to happen because, look, this was going to happen, right? Like, Bateman's the first-round pick. It's going to be the same thing that happened with Marquise. Right? It's going to be the same thing. I'm not. Yeah. So I can't put any money on it.
Don't let your fandom for Duve make you hate Bateman. Stop it right this second.
You're right. I don't hate Bateman. All I'm saying is that I love when guys show grit, take advantage of their opportunities. He shows versatility. He's always available. He's a Raven in his DNA. He's a Raven.
He's your guy, man. You like him. I do too. But we don't need to bet. We don't need to bag on one of our guys to hype up another.
Right. You're
That's
right.
all.
You're right. But
DK, we need somebody to come in here and chill it out in here. There's high aggression in here. Jimmy's sweating.
I'm not sweating. I'm just saying. DK, can you just
Jimmy, arms up, bro. Arms up.
I promise I'm not. Look. I'm not.
You're lucky you're wearing white.
No, but I'm for real not. I'm for real not. I promise. There's other things I'd get really angry about. DK, can we just settle something real quick?
Oh, here we go. Oh, no. DK's meant to chill the room, not intensify it.
By answering, he will
be honest, DK.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. DK, I'm a proponent of lessening Duvernay's role on special teams because he needs to focus on being our number 1, number 2 wide receiver, whatever, but impactful offensive player. I don't want him doing all of it.
Goodness.
I want him.
We're not circling back to that.
That's all I want to know.
He wants to take the All-Pro out of the All-Pro role. All right, Laura says, well, I also don't know why the media only asked him 2 questions. What in the world? What do you know what Laura's talking about here? I'm mistaken. I don't know. Only asked who 2 questions? Anyone?
I don't know.
Okay. Laura, if you can clarify what you mean, I'll certainly throw it back up there. Hey, what's going on, baby blue? Yeah, Chris Lowry in the house. What's going on, baby? Okay, Glenn has to wear a Burrow jersey. Glenn has to buy a Kenny Pickett jersey. No, I'm not the one who hates Kenny Pickett. Look, I'm not the one who hates really many players at all. Jimmy has a long list, but mine is really short.
I don't hate people. Okay, Tyreek Hill's for sure on the list.
Baker?
He broke his son's arm. Joe Mixon cold cocked a girl in the freaking.
Oh, don't try and put those guys on the list just to make me look bad. No,
but they're on my list.
All right,
for sure.
all right.
Wait, can I just say my list for 10 seconds? Yeah,
all right.
Baker's on the list because he's an a-hole. Like, there's no other way around it. He's just a jerk of a human being, right? And then you hear the stories of him being unfaithful to his wife, and then he's not even a good football player. Like, there's no redeeming quality for Baker Mayfield. Give me one.
Well, he seems to be. He got a good news on his second opinion.
Yeah, well, good for him.
On his injury.
That was a real stretch. And then Joe Burrow is just a cocky son of a gun who is overcompensating.
Hold on. You didn't like Pat Mahomes for a while.
That's true.
So I only have one guy on my list.
Who?
Oh, I don't even have it. Did I burn it?
Oh,
no. Big crybaby. Big O. I only have Orlando Brown Jr. is on my list of players I don't like. Very short list, but Asmodeus says, if Glenn loses, you have to scarf down 3 McBangers.
On the show.
Asmodeus, I'm going to start calling you the wrong name if you can't put 2 N's on the end of that, Glenn. I need a double N.
You have to do it on the show live, and you have to do it in 2 minutes.
Oh, well, that would be no problem. I could smash. But
it's a McDouble with a McChicken in the middle.
Well, 3 of them, that's probably a lot. But my only concern is the aftermath. I'm sure I'll enjoy the scarfing down 3 McBangers on camera. I'll enjoy that. I don't know how much you guys are going to want to watch me look like a savage as I stuff them down.
Kind of gross.
Yeah, exactly. It's gross. But afterwards, yeah, I'm going to be.
Hey, there we go. Look, come on. There we go.
What, you got one person on your team?
Hey. All I need is one, bro.
All I need is
an
one.
Important one. Sean Pisker. I'm with James. I can't stand Baker or Burrow. Look, Glenn, let me just, okay, I'll answer the question with this. I'm a caveman. I'm a knuckle dragger. I'm a tribalist, okay? Tribalism runs deep in my blood, and I can't help it, all right? You're wearing purple. I like you for the most part. You're not? I don't like you. This settles it.
Okay. All right. Well, apparently Laura was talking about Duvernay. They only asked Duvernay 2 questions. I didn't see his post-game presser because we were in the back of an Uber, and I admittedly haven't clicked on it in the days after. But I don't know why they only asked him 2 questions. That's interesting. Maybe the reporters were it was late and they wanted to go home, and they just didn't have. But I would have asked him more. I would have certainly wanted to know. I don't know the question, but I would have liked to know his feelings on taking the ball in a more traditional running back way like he did. He did take one jet sweep, but there was one play where he was lined up as in the traditional running back role.
I think he did, or something like that.
Yeah, and it was pretty much the same play. It was like they ran to the left, then they ran a jet sweep in almost the exact same way, just a different point of getting him the ball. But both, they were successful. Laura says, "Oh yeah, okay, dude was only I didn't even have to." But yeah, I appreciate it. Laura. But yeah, I would like to see more and more of Devin Duvernay in that role until we see some more explosiveness come out of the feet and legs of the running backs. And Justice Hill being gone, kind of limits their options there. Sean Pisker says, I'm with James. Oh, you already put this up. I'm with James. Can't stand him.
Worth repeating.
I
just
well said.
I've just come to realize it. Tribalism, it's alive and well, dude. My beating heart. I can't help it.
Your blood is boiling, bro.
Can't help it, dude. But look, man, I just feel a lot of things, dude. I like you, or I probably don't.
I feel a lot of things, guys.
Hey, look, at least you know I like you, Glenn, right? Because if not, you probably know.
You'd probably tell me. Yeah. I think you would. or you tell someone else and I'd hear about it like the players do when they hear about you talking.
I just like a tweet on social media that says something disparaging about you.
It's just fun. I'll be like, damn it. And then someone will send it to me. I'm like, damn, my guy. Tariq says, any thoughts on the Panthers? Any potential trades? I'm glad you brought this up, Tariq, because I did have, some names pulled up. I'm looking at their roster. Actually, I had their whole depth chart pulled up. I know one guy we're not going for. That's their quarterback. But there are two spots. There's actually, I think, three positions that I've seen linked, or maybe four. Four names, I should say, linked to possibly join the Ravens. One, McCaffrey, no chance.
Yeah.
Way too much money. Don't imagine them even moving him. But also, the injury. Why bring another guy who
contract?
Yeah, everything. I mean, hell of a player, but definitely don't see McCaffrey coming to Baltimore. Another guy I've seen. I wanted your take on these two guys: Robbie Anderson, wide receiver; DJ Moore, wide receiver.
Robbie Anderson. Ding, ding, ding.
Why? Why him, not
because
DJ?
I think DJ, they're gonna ask for too much. Look, we got Peters for what, a fifth and a player. Don't expect the Ravens to do anything more than that for a comparable return.
Yeah,
and DJ Moore's gonna fetch more than that. I just think he is. So, but I think Bateman or Anderson, you get on a steal, and I think he'd be a nice, decent addition. I think he's a consistently underrated player. I think Robbie Anderson's
He's a deep ball threat.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, and he's a deep ball waiting to happen. He's already got a catch of 75 yards for a touchdown this year. It seems like every year he has a handful of those. He would be a nice fit. I don't know if they are necessarily wide receiver needy unless Bateman's injury has a setback or something. I think they're okay. So if I would say neither, but if I had to choose one, I mean, I'd rather have DJ Moore. He's a Terp. I love DJ Moore. He was a monster here.
Like, ideally, he's a better player.
Yeah. But I agree with you that Robbie Anderson would fit if we were looking for one. I think he would fit more of what they're looking for. And then the final name,
long-term commitment financially to deal with either.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other name I see linked to the Ravens a lot is defensive end Brian Burns. He's got 4 sacks already on the season, 14 total tackles. He's 6'5", 250. He's only 24 years old. He was a first-round pick in 2019, so he will be getting paid in the not so distant future. What's your thoughts about adding him, even if they only add him just for the remainder of his rookie deal, and only the remainder, not even necessarily, they may not even, I don't even know if the 5th year is a thing that I just think they might, what do you think, add him just for the remainder of his 4 years?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, I think at that position, we're pretty desperate, and I don't think we're at a position to be turning people away, right? If we get a good deal to improve that room, I think we should do it. So as far as likelihood goes, that's the move. The most exciting move obviously would be DJ Moore. I'm not even including CMC in this conversation, right?
Yeah.
But I think Robbie Anderson is between the two, right? As far as likelihood and exciting, but I think the most likely is Burns.
Yeah, and I would say the most likely is, I mean, other than Burns would be nobody, because I think that's the most likely, is that they're not going to trade for anyone because they look at their injured players returning as their trade haul, and they're going to have a ton of big-time talent coming back on their own where they don't have to give up draft picks to acquire it. Asmodeus says,
can't wait to get the bus in the backfield, dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm hyped to see that backfield back to 100%. Asmodeus says, if we're going tribal, let's put a pig on a spit and call it a giant. I won't get your name wrong after, Glenn. Appreciate it. My man. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, this is a big game. I will say, for a 4-1 team, this isn't the scariest 4-1 team you'll ever see. They're
the quarterback is still Daniel Jones at the end of the day.
And their receivers are absolutely atrocious. They have no one at the receiver position. They're bad. But they do have Saquon Barkley, and he is really, really, really good.
Let's talk about, sorry. Yes, I agree. I want to get to Tariq Kakik, because I talked about this. I floated this theory. Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a 5th rounder for Bozeman and Anderson. The only reason I can say no to Bozeman right now is because he's on basically a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I think Bozeman ends up back in Baltimore and takes over the left guard spot.
Interesting.
Next year, I think he comes back. We solidified center. We already know he's a solid left guard. Bring Bozeman back and check the tape. I said this like a month ago.
That is interesting. The only thing I would say makes that unlikely is that it seemed like they weren't really happy with him when he left. Like, it seemed like he turned down something that they thought was a fair offer and he should accept. And to see him accept an offer for as low as he did, I got to imagine the Ravens gave him a higher offer than that. So,
well,
I
maybe
think
he
they
comes
felt
back
burned.
groveling at their feet.
Now, that could be the case, but unless he comes back literally groveling, I don't think they want him back
Like
because
Puma, dude.
yeah, they gave him more. Like, there's no way. They said he turned down an offer. Like, that's widely known. He turned down some offer. I can't imagine the offer was worse than what he accepted. His offer was horrible for the Panthers. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no way it could have been worse than that. So, I don't think Bozeman's on his way back, but only because I think there's some tension there.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I
but I wouldn't be mad.
No, absolutely.
He's not that athletic though as a guard. So I mean, they could upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. They could. But we've been trying for the past 8 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many Bens have we put in at that position at this point?
Yeah, we'll be playing old Ben Bredesen this week.
Yeah, dude, starting at left guard for the Giants.
Yep.
Had a decent game last week. He had a holding penalty I saw, but he had a decent game last week. So
T-Rex arms, bruh.
Yeah. It's getting a little late here, Glenn. I think unless you got something else that's pressing.
Oh, let's do our competition real quick.
Yeah.
DK has it loaded up and ready to go. So let's first review our show winner and then reveal our fan winner. So let's get right into it without any further delay here, DK. Let's go to our first over-under and hear the results. Let's see. Is DK doing this on the fly? My man. Okay, here we go. First over-under, K Dobbins, yards per rush attempt, 3.5 over-under. He went way over, 5.5 yards per attempt, and I think all of us got this one right. We all selected over, if I remember correctly. Nailed that. But I think you guys really were just kind of copying off my answers. But yeah, we all got that one right.
Wait a second.
All right, moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one. Ravens passing first downs, over under 9.5. We all said over, didn't we? Or did
No, you said under full.
Oh yeah, Ravens passing. That's right.
No faith in the squad.
I was right. I said that we'd make our hay on the ground, which we did. So I was the only one to get that right. Is that or no? Me and DK got that right. Okay, so Jimbo and Brad both were incorrect on the second one. So let's see. I'm 2-0. DK's 2-0, and you and Brad are 1-1 after the first two. All right. So the first defensive over under was opponent third down efficiency over under 30%. The answer was over. They were at 40%. So me and DK once again were both correct, while you and Brad wrong. Jimbo.
Yeah. What can I say? Wrong.
Not a good one for Brad. I'm loving seeing that. All right. Last one. Marcus Williams and Marcus Peters combined interceptions over under 0.5. Man, DK, all of us, we answered the same on everything, and we were both wrong on this one, while James and James and Brad were both correct. So at the end of our over under totals, me and DK were tied at 3 out of 4 going into our first tiebreaker, which was the score. All four of us said over 48 points, and all four of us were completely wrong.
Yeah, no kidding.
The total ends up well under 48, just 36 points total between the two teams. So no tie broken there because we were both completely wrong. So the final tiebreaker, closest to the pin in total yards for your Baltimore Ravens. The total was 325.
Returned.
Daggone DK nailed it, 325 on the
Exactly.
nose.
That's right. But
damn.
The king is back, dude. Back with a vengeance. 3 out of 4 and exactly right on the pin. My goodness.
Yeah.
Shout out to DK, dude. Nice one, bro.
I came this close, Jimbo.
Yeah,
this close.
I'm mad at you tonight. You lost. No, I'm kidding.
Damn it. I lost. So I was the DK was the big winner. But let's reveal who our fan winner was.
Hey-o. Dom Trotta. Dude, the
again.
Trottas are holding it down right now.
They're legends. I mean, they're like the Watts.
3 weeks out of the 5.
They've been a Trotta.
That's right. Same household, dude.
Dude, they're the Watt brothers now. Like,
Yeah,
they're
get
just
at
taking
him.
over the league. You know what I'm saying?
He's a whiz. Yeah, it's been awesome. We're excited for next week as well. Shout out to Dom. Your hoodie is already on the way because it was your second win. I made sure
Yeah.
to get that out this morning, so it is in the mail, and your shirt as well. So you'll be all swaggied out. I also want to mention, speaking of swag, we got an exciting new partnership, Glenn. Really excited about it. Ice Brands is an NFL licensed merchandise producer. In other words, they make Ravens swag.
They make sick Ravens clothes.
Yeah, so I got some swag on right now.
Show it off.
It's really nice, dude. It's got the logo. It's got the logo on the back. It's really nice quality. I'm gonna be honest with you. I only really wear things if I know they're gonna last a decade, or else I don't spend money on them because I hate shopping.
True.
So the quality is great. The cut is great. We're gonna have the affiliate link in the video. And then in all of our videos, no pit stains, DK. They don't come with it.
That's right.
And all the subsequent videos will have the link. The really cool thing is it's a nice way for you guys to get some Ravens gear and to support the show at the same time. So make sure to check it out. You'll see our affiliate link in all the subsequent videos, moving forward. But I just wanted to give them a shout out. We also, Glenn, have a giveaway coming up with them that we're going to announce on Thursday that we're really excited about. So make sure to stay tuned there. But a lot of fun, and we're excited about that. 2 wins. I might have to retire. It's all down here. There he is. Dummy!
Yeah, he's a legend around here. 2 wins early. DK started as just a fan participant in our competition, so you never know where it could take you here, Dom.
3
so
in a
keep
row,
up the
dude.
good work. Maybe you'll be writing on 410 Patreon before you know.
DK's going to start getting pit stains over there.
Yeah, don't get nervous. Dom will be typing up banners before you know it.
Now, DK, we love you. We'll find something else for Dom to do.
No doubt about it. But this was fun. This was heated. I like it. I like hearing the passion. Oftentimes, I mean, you just sit and agree with me about everything I say. So I'm thankful that finally we're hearing a little something out of you, a little fire. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what to do anymore with this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Goodness gracious. This is just out of hand. Get out of here.
Dude, it sounded like professional wrestling earlier, bruh. I'm going to start calling you Stone Cold the way you came in there, dude. Randy Orton.
What can I say, man? No, but it was a lot of fun. I agree.
Yeah.
So when things go my way, just give me my flowers. Okay?
Get out of your way.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure to give me my spotlight when things go my way, okay?
Yeah, I got you. Never again will I make that mistake.
No, it was an absolute blast tonight, man. I agree with you. We'll have to think of some more things that we disagree on.
Get you fired up. Yeah.
Dude.
Man, I know what button to push.
Like it's all about
Duvernay
Bill
button.
Dude.
Yeah, exactly. You know the buttons. Okay.
Yeah.
I got Bill and I got Orlando. Those are my 2.
I'm sure you got some more. Just let me get it out of you.
Yeah, let you think about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's it for us tonight. It was an absolute blast, and we will see you guys Thursday.